Hello, everyone. I'm back again. As you notice, I'm not in the normal studio. I'm actually in the living room of my home, um, but I am knee deep in some art deadlines. So it's kind of put a dampener. And apologize, I'm eating Starburst because I was given some this morning. So I haven't done a what's on my desk in a little bit for a week or so. Weekly update. Not fully prepared like it should be. So I'm going to give you a couple of quick weekly updates, and I may throw some little tidbits of what's on my desk and mind in this episode because my deadlines, I've got like 100 and something sketch cards doing like 3 weeks, and so it's taking up monopolizing all my time because I still got to teach all my classes. I got to do normal work, that kind of thing. And we just got back from for trip to Mississippi, where I was a featured artist at Golden Triangle Comic Con, which was a blast, but that took up a lot of extra time. And now I'm able to Starburst inappropriately, not be able to talk properly, but I already had it open. So if you can understand me, I may like that. Talk around like this. I make little sense. Because that's how you sound when you eat a Starburst. That was a mistake. So I want to talk about. Put this stupid Starburst out of my mouth. Sorry. Let me give you a couple of little quick news. Nothing really big. I'm sure there is some big news out there. I haven't had time to go through everything. We dropped a few trailers on our stuff, working on a bunch of reviews. I just do reviews up for next week's release of Hellraiser 1 and 2, these new 2K restorations from Arrow Video that are pretty cool. They got like, look at this. It's got like a ton of bonus features. Like all these are just bonus features between the same thing on both of them. I think they're the same release. They put out a, I forgot what they called it. It was like a Crimson box set that had Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3. I want to say last year or something else. So now they're breaking them up into individuals. So anyway, that's technically, if you want to talk about what's on my desk is a TV tray and stuff right here so I can work. You'll see my cool artwork behind me. It's in, yes, we're a full-on Star Wars family. So there's Star Wars in our living room as well. But these are expensive, fancy stuff. This one is. These over here, I don't know how expensive they are. Anyway, so I got these sitting here. Then another movies I'm reviewing, my glasses and pins. So anyway, let's just talk about some quick news real fast. With the new NBC Universal, we talked about this on TV. Now my dog's going crazy. Vader, come here. So he says, Vader, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's going to keep going crazy. This is why we don't do this show from here. Hey, come here. Hold on. You got to wait there for a second. All right. He stopped. Come here. So, sorry about that. There was a delivery of some sort. So, they bring it on the door. And since I'd answered, shut up, man. You see me talking to the people of the world? I'm talking to them. Shut up. Please. Thank you. He's doing his job, his one job, and I tell him to stop doing it. Anyway, they've announced the NBC Universal streaming service, so they've got a lot of different shows popping up. We talked about on TV Tuesday. They're doing a sequel series for Saved by the Bell with Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley are coming back. They're doing a Punky Brewster sequel of some sort, a new Battlestar Galactica show. I've heard two different things. I heard one, it was a new show. I also heard one that it wasn't a remake. So I don't know if it's continuing from the previous thing in the same universe or what the plan is. I don't think it's planned to bring the original cast back of any kind. It's probably too far out from that. Stallone's been out promoting Rambo Last Blood, which I'm super stoked about. We'll be talking about it this week on Hollywood Matrimony Live on Sunday. But a couple of things that have come out of these interviews. One, that he's really been wanting to do a Tango and Cash sequel with him and Kurt Russell. Apparently, he's talked to Kurt Russell, but hadn't been able to convince him to do it yet. Not that it's even been greenlit. It's just something he was wanting to do, I think. But he did say that also one of my favorite Stallone movies, Cobra. You probably heard me talk about it on one of our shows. He's been helping develop or whatever, possibly a TV series, and he's handed it over to Robert Rodriguez, who just recently did the lead of Battle Angel, but he's known for the Spy Kids movies and the Desperado movies and a lot of other stuff. He does some great stuff. So it's kind of been handed over to him. So that's potentially in the works. Obviously not with Stallone starring in it, but maybe he'll have some kind of a small part. Or maybe to be the old Cobra passing on. I don't know. But also, Stallone's been talking about, he's always had this idea of a Rambo movie, like the prequel movie of Rambo before he went to Nam. So it'd be more about the kid in high school and how he was this person he was before he was jaded by war and became who we all know that's been this tormented, soldier with PTSD and doesn't feel right unless he's in battle of some sort. So he's talking about wanting that. I don't think there's any movement on that. Obviously, we'll wait and see how Last Blood does. I'm hoping it does awesome because it looks amazing and it's a great movie, great character. Stallone's awesome, so hopefully it'll work out. The other fun thing that's been talked about is Jon Favreau, who is not only has new episodes of The Chef Show on Netflix, which we already binge watched. If you've never seen that show, you need to check it out. Kind of spawned off his chef movie into that show. We talked about it on TV Tuesday as well. But out while he's doing press, he's got the Mandalorian series fixing to come up in November on the new Disney streaming service. And somebody asked him, I don't know if they asked him specifically about this or if they asked him what he'd like to see or do. He talked about wanting to do a new Star Wars holiday special. It was a tongue-in-cheek statement, so I don't think it was teasing anything that they're working on. But he clearly has a love for it, like a lot of the Star Wars fans do. And you can see some of it in the Mandalorian trailer. There's a sequence where the Mandalorian's holding like this big rifle that has almost like a tuning fork looking thing on the end of it. That's actually obviously directly out of the Boba Fett cartoon in the Star Wars holiday special. I'm sure there's a bunch of other nuances that I just don't remember offhand. But he mentioned, he would love to do that. And, for the fans to put the word out through the streaming service if you're wanting to see one. And I personally think it's been the biggest blunder Lucasfilm has ever made to not commercially release that or whoever owns the rights to not commercially release that, because no matter how much George Lucas hated it, how bad it is, how cheesy it is, I guarantee he would make all the money. Because all of us fans that love all that stuff, we all have copies, but they're all bootleg copies. They don't run great. Sometimes, there's a few copies. Like I have a friend that's got a really good copy, but most of them are just copies of copies of copies, and they stick or they don't look great, or they're just not a really good thing. If they did like a restoration copy, they release it, I guarantee it'd make a ton of money, but will probably never happen. They just officially started filming Halloween Kills, the second in the new Halloween series, which is actually an official sequel to the original Halloween movie that brought back Jamie Lee Curtis and whatnot. They announced, I think it was during Comic-Con, I don't remember. Anyway, they announced Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends to kind of wrap up a new trilogy. They've officially started that. And while they've officially started filming Halloween Kills, Leigh Whannell has just wrapped production on The Invisible Man. He is another guy that I love his work. He's one of the co-creators of the Saw franchise. He starred in the original Saw movie along with Cary Elwes, but he co-wrote it with James Wan. He's in the Insidious movies. He directed, I believe, one of the Insidious movies. I think it was 3. He also did one of my favorite movies, was last year, the year before, Upgrade. He directed that. I got a chance to interview him a couple of years when he was doing the Upgrade press tour. He's an awesome guy. So it's Universal was going to do that launched that brand new monster universe, the Dark Universe, I think that's what they were calling it, and it had the Mummy, the Tom Cruise Mummy movie, was the first movie that was supposed to be a part of that, and it fell apart. So they ended up relaunching that, canceling. They had announced cast, they had announced Johnny Depp, they had announced all these different people as part of the cast, and they got rid of that, started over, and I believe Blumhouse is helping with that, and so the new Invisible Man movie, I think, is now kind of on its own thing. But he took the reins of it, finished directing it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he puts together, because he's got an eye for horror, but also very creative, and like some of the old school stuff. The other big thing is they've been putting together this Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover for the CW shows. We've announced a few times all the different people. I mentioned this at one point, but I think it was still rumor at the point. They've kind of officially announced that Tom Welling will be returning as Clark Kent in that in the crossover event. So now we're going to have 3 different Supermans. We're going to have Brandon Routh, who will not only be playing the Atom, but he'll also be playing Superman again. He plays Superman as Superman Returns. We have Tom Welling from Smallville, which, let's be honest, without Smallville, we probably would have never had these other shows. It kind of launched the popularity on the CW for comic book shows. And it also, Jensen Ackles left Smallville and went to started starring in Supernatural. And so it kind of gave us Supernatural, I guess, on some level too. But then they also have, I forgot the other guy. The guy that plays, I just went blank. I don't remember his name. The guy that plays Superman on Supergirl as well. He'll be reprising the role. So we've got a lot of people coming back, old school people, Burt Ward, Linda Carter, all these different people showed up. They're going to give us like the ultimate crossover fans for DC, for the movies, the TV shows. It's all coming together in some fashion. So that's going to be cool. Then a couple of quick trailers. There was a bunch of trailers that have come out this week, like every week. Probably the two, one of the bigger one was the new Knives Out trailer, which is the murder mystery from Rian Johnson. That looks great. But the entertaining one is they're kind of in promotional mode for Spider-Man Far From Home that's fixing to hit 4K and Blu-ray, and they put out a Night Monkey trailer to promote, which I thought was kind of ironic with the whole Sony Marvel thing, that they're putting out a trailer that's almost not promoting Spider-Man, but it is. And I know it's more probably playing more and probably not even thinking about that so much as thinking more about that character flip in the movie, because Sony has the rights, so they can do whatever they want. But they put out a fun Night Monkey trailer that you can check out here on our page. I believe it's on our page. If it's not, on our website, HollywoodMatchMoney.com, there's an article with it on there. So that's pretty much all the news I pulled. There's a lot of other stuff about release dates of different stuff. Things come out. I'm just so neck deep in artwork and deadlines that I got to deal with. I'm ill prepared today, so I'm just going to apologize in advance. I'll probably pop on later tonight and do an official what's on my desk in my mind episode, because I have a lot to talk about and things to talk about if you want to hear it. So that's going to be it for now. It's a little bit short one, as like it always is. Hopefully next week I'll be a little better prepared for the weekly update. But this is really more about what I want to talk about, not everything going on, because you can get online and look for yourself if I don't tell you. So please don't forget, check out our website, HollywoodMatchMoney.com, where there's a lot of news and trailers and information that I didn't talk about that's still there, that's popped up. You can go to our Twitter page at Hollywood Matter, MATR, Instagram, Hollywood Matrimony, our Facebook page, Hollywood Matrimony. And don't forget, we'll be back here Sunday for Hollywood Matrimony Live. There'll be simulcast right here on this YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook page. This week, we're going to be talking about the Rambo franchise, including Rambo Last Blood, that hits theaters this Friday. So we'll be talking about all the movies in the franchise, the legacy of Rambo, our history of seeing it, what we like about it, what we don't like about all the movies, that thing, as well as the new Brad Pitt science fiction film, Ad Astra. We'll talk about those too. Those are currently the only two, but I figure that's going to take up a whole show. Then be back here Monday for Hollywood Matrimony's Martial Arts Movie Monday, where I'll talk about an all-new martial arts film from my collection. And then Tuesdays, TV Tuesdays, which don't forget will be later in the evening now, because the missus has to go into the office on Tuesdays, so we can't shoot it during the day. And then be back for another week update, and then back for another what's on my mind and my desk, and then so on and so on and so on. So please don't forget, subscribe to this site, subscribe to the site up here on this orb if you come later. Check out whatever new video or whatever pops up on this side. Head over to the HollywoodMatrimony.com, enter a contest, win some stuff, but above all else, be nice to one another. And thank you for supporting our site. We greatly appreciate you. We love you all. Have a wonderful day.